Let's be honest. If you want to do this, or go places like that, well, your standard Sprinter and Transit really isn't going to be the vehicle of choice. You want something with a little bit of meat on the bones. Something that no matter what you hit, nothing's going to happen to the truck. And that's where we get into this beast right here. Instead of going with one of those Sprinters or Transits or pop-top E350s, we went with something a little bit more unique. This guy, his name is Bronty. That is a Stewart & Stevenson M1079. Stewart & Stevenson, they made all the military vehicles basically in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now, an M1079, this means that this is a van, which, you know, it's a pretty loose description of this being a van, but hey, I'll take it. We got 3-inch walls on the floor, 2-inch walls on every side, so, well, in the cold, it's pretty darn good. Pair that with 48-inch tires, 24 inches of ground clearance, and you've basically got an apocalypse-ready, zombie-proof rig that can take you anywhere you want. The front end, well, it's extremely thick metal. You're gonna get hit by a train before you feel anything. This guy right here, that is called a snorkel. This is technically the tallest point you can go through water, but there's fans by the engine and they say about 3.5 to 5 feet is the max. If you're going through 5 feet of water, well, you probably shouldn't be driving in a river first off. We have air. So this system powers both the brakes as well as the central tire inflation on all of the wheels. So inside the cab, you can press a button and inflate and deflate the tire. So if you're off-roading, well, you don't have to get outside if it's cold and muddy, which is lovely. But this guy right here, this little wet tank, so you can see, you could hook up your standard air tools to it. So changing the tire becomes a lot easier, even though they weigh about 350 pounds. Next, this is a secondary fuel tank. This is not stock. This is something that was added, making it over 100 gallons of diesel that'll hold. Same with this storage unit right here. This is just going to be a small one for tools. Moving down, we have these valves right here. This is the central tire inflation that I was talking about. So it inflates and deflates to a set PSI, which is absolutely fantastic. It'll also tell you if you have a leak. Some changes are these shiny pieces right here. The standard truck is extremely slow. So by changing this out, it changed the top speed from 58 to 75. Now I can cruise on the freeway. Moving around the back, again, everything here is extremely strong. The ladder used to be hanging on the truck. This one, well, it lifts up and down so easy. I've got the extension on, but all I have to do is basically pick it up with one hand, lower it with one hand. Makes it absolutely incredible to get in and out. But we'll cover the inside on another episode. This one's got an Arctic turn door on the back. It usually had like refrigerator doors where you could open up both sides. And the tire. The tire is on basically a winch system. It lowers itself down and also picks itself back up. Meaning that, well, you don't actually have to push off the vehicle and crush someone that you're traveling with. On this side, again, other pieces that were added. This is a 10,000 kilowatt diesel generator that's plugged into the main fuel lines. So if I really do run out of power, it's right there. Getting under the vehicle. That's where things get, well, a little bit dirty because it's on the ground, but absolutely fantastic. So one of the reasons why someone would go with a military vehicle is the fact that they are so over-engineered. They cost a fortune for our government, but they don't use it very often, so you get a vehicle that will withstand basically anything at a price cheaper than, buying a 4x4 ambulance. Many of these vehicles, I mean, they've raised prices in the last couple of years. A couple years ago, you'd find the van bodies with 2,000 miles on them. I mean, basically brand new for $18,000 to $25,000, which there is no ambulance, no good conversion where you're starting off with a vehicle with so little miles at that price range. Now, realistically, you're at the $30,000 to $40,000 range, which for a fantastic, capable vehicle with barely any miles, this thing rocks. Now, under the hood, this was what makes something like this awesome. Every tractor in the 90s, no matter where you are in the world, uses this engine. It's the Caterpillar 3116. It's huge, heavy, it's yellow, makes it fun, it's got a turbo on it. But if you're traveling to South America, you can get parts basically anywhere, because the same Cat excavator they're using for the last 30 years has the exact same engine as this guy. Pair that with Allison's 7-speed transmission. For all the gearheads out there that actually want to know some of the facts, here you go. It's a push button, so that's kind of cool, being that it's in the 90s. But it's got a tractor lever, meaning that you can basically set the RPM and it acts as cruise control. Having cruise control in this vehicle going 65 miles an hour is awesome. Realistically, once I've done these upgrades, I've been averaging around 10-ish miles per gallon, which, you know, not the best for a truck, but a very good gas mileage for a house. That's what this is, a slow truck, but a fast house. Now, we're coming in. It's a big step, so I'm gonna put you down real quick. You might get a weird crotch shot. I'm sorry, but I'll pick you back up. There we go. I've changed out the seats to something a lot more comfortable. These were out of a Jeep Trackhawk, I believe. They were on Craigslist. The original seats still break your back. But the fun thing here is all of this. So to start the car, you've got green switch, lights turn on, big red button. I don't care who you are, pressing a big red button is awesome. Here we go. It's as simple as that. Now we've got the transmission control, so reverse, neutral, drive. It also has a granny gear, so if you are off-roading, you can set it down to basically just a crawl. The lights, this is probably the biggest annoying part, is it's always blacked out, so you have to set the right combination in order to get your headlights working, your brake lights, and everything like that. Here's that tractor handle that I was talking about, the lever. So by just moving that up, yes, it's cruise control. Are you supposed to do that? It says no. However, with the amount of miles I've driven on this one and my previous truck, I've never had an issue. Here is the box to control central tire inflation. So we have highway, cross country, sand, emergency, and run flat. One of the biggest reasons why I sold my last vehicle, other than moving and a few other pieces, and bought this one, is this right here. That's a massive pass-through. These, typically, the cab and the habitat are separate. So, realistically, you have to get out of the car, go all the way around, take down the ladders, and then get into the back. Which, if you park into a tight spot, or you're not in the best neighborhood, or it's raining or snowing outside, you don't want that. This one, I do have to crawl like my little dog to get back there, but hey, at least I'm inside my vehicle at all points. This is a vehicle from the 90s after all, so nothing is automated. I mean, to roll down the windows, you got a little crank lever, which is perfectly fine. Door handle is actually just this little tiny switch, which is fine again. You don't have the luxuries that you would. And it's basically a tin roof. So I've been adding sound deadening on all sides. Eventually, yes, I will do the inside, but it gets louder here. So there's pros and cons. The pro, I can go basically everywhere. The con, I might not always be as comfortable as your new Sprinter van. But you take into account the fact that this is, let's say, $25,000 to buy one of these. You can go almost anywhere right out of the box. You're not spending 10 grand on suspension and then having someone put it in and you don't even know if they put it in, or you put it in and then you really don't know if you did it correctly. And, well, it's just a lot of fun. The amount of people that stop and want to have a conversation, I can't go to the gas station. And most people would say it's probably the old guys that are stopping me. Weirdly enough, it's usually moms. Maybe it's the long red hair and the beard, but I think it's just, you know, in people's eyes, it's safe. I can get in an accident. If I don't go through the window because my seatbelt's on, nothing is going to happen. This is a 19,000-pound vehicle. You don't need a special license. Insurance, it's basically an RV once you do all the right steps. Now that is Bronty, my 1996 Stewart & Stevenson M1079. I am in the middle, or actually the beginning, of turning this into my camper van. Follow along, really excited. The whole goal is to drive from Alaska to Australia over 10 to 15 years. But Argentina is the first step of that leg and really the first goal. Again, my name's Justin. Welcome to Destination Daily. Can't wait to see you around. Have a good one.